And the ring is here in Canastota, New York for the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And with me right now is former two-division world champion and 2025 Hall of Fame inductee, Michael, second to none. And Michael, for you, I guess this was a long time coming.
Long time coming. I'm just thankful to be here and being inducted to the Annals of History with all the other legendary great fighters that came before me and is going to come after. So I'm really looking forward to this fantastic weekend.
Now, to go over some of the highlights of your career, everything that took place to get to this point, you were the first world champion out of Davenport.
Yes, sir. The state of Iowa, yeah.
88, you win the IBF middleweight title from Frank Tate.
Correct.
Describe that moment of winning it, and then when you went back home, the reception that you received.
Well, you got to understand that when I fought for the World Championship, July 28th, 1988 at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, it gave me the opportunity to showcase my talent to the world and to beat a great fighter, Frank Tate, which is a dear friend of mine. It was real big. It was big. July 28th was even bigger after I won. And then going back to my state and being able to have a parade and just being able to like take all the love and all the respect and honor that came with me bringing a world championship back to the state of Iowa. We never had a world champion boxer, so I was the first. So it was a legendary moment, and it was just made me feel good. My mother, let her rest in heaven, Marshall Jackson, my cousin, my brother Willie Nunn, my trainer Dan Goosen, my advisor Mr. Robert Surkine. And it was just a great honor to be able to go back and, just show the kids it can be done with the hard work, dedication, and the focus, and the belief system, and the attitude to work hard and being around good people. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be blessed with so many great people, man. And, it's easy for me to get up on the stage and say how great it is for me, but it's the people I made happy. Not just myself, my fans, my family, my friends, and just, boxing fans from around the world. A proud achievement moment for me, and I'll be blessed for the rest of my life. I thank God for sending those talents upon me to be able to do the things I was able to do.
And then you had a great run of wins: Barkley, Starling, Curry. And then you run in 91, you run into a young kid by the name of James Lights Out Tony.
And he was lights out.
You were well up on the cards. 11th round comes. Did he just catch you with a shot you didn't see?
No, what happened, like I tell people, that's the first fight I lost. I give number kudos to James Tony for being a great fighter he was. And matter of fact, he's a Hall of Fame fighter as well. So it was one of those days. He was just the best man that day. I didn't make excuses in 91. So now it's 2025 and I won't make excuses. He was just a better man that night. And no matter, because I was ahead, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And he started kind of slow, but he finished strong. And that's how you win fights.
Now, you never did a rematch. The next following year, you moved up.
Well, yeah, because I could no longer make 160. And I moved up to 168. And I think I was world champion again within the next 10 or 11 months. But it was great. When I lost and you want to be a champion again, that's where I could quit boxing. I'm 38-1, but what the heck? I think I want to come back and do it again. And, I want to win another championship. I figure if I was going to box, I want to be a champion. I just didn't want to be just a guy that, they see, that guy, he boxes or whatever, I want to be a world champion. And that's the only purpose why I box. I didn't just box to say I could box. That was always my motivation, is to be a world champion. So I felt like if I was going to fight, I had to be at the top of the food chain. And it inspired me to work even harder and, because I'm moving up in weight. And I think that's what I probably needed to do before the Tony fight. But like I say, we don't make excuses. We look for a number of results, and how you get them, you come to work and bust your butt and get in the ring and be able to do what you do.
And you're right. You won the WBA title the following year.
Yeah.
2 years later, you lost the belt to Steve Little.
Right.
It also a close fight.
Very controversial fight, but in boxing we're going to see things. A lot of people felt I won. A lot of people felt he won. Whatever the case was, but that's how the judges call it. And out of my career, I've never been an excuse maker. And if the judges seen it that way, hey, I got to accept it. It just lets me know I got to get back in the dungeon and work a little bit harder. I'm no pity party type of guy. I don't sit around and talk about, well, what I could have, should have done. You had the opportunity to do it. But I noticed when guys beat me, they never won no rematches.
And then a couple of years later, you tried to go for your third world title. You went up to 75. You traveled to Germany.
Yes, I did.
You went against Rocchigiani.
Yep. Rocchigiani.
Yeah, I always misspell his name,
Exactly,
mispronounce it.
Let him rest in peace. He died in an accident over in Germany, I want to say 2008 November, but sometimes in 2018 because he was in an accident over there, got hit by a car or something. But he passed away. I hear his baby was in his arms, and it was at a shopping district over there. And as he's walking down the street, a car came up on the pavement where the pedestrian was walking, and he had his kid in the arm. He took his kid, a 2 or 3 year old kid at the time, and he threw his kid out the way and saved his kid's life. And from the results of the car hitting him, he ended up dying. So, that was a real courageous thing that he done, was save his child's life. But unfortunately, he died in the process. It was sad. And when I got out of prison, I wanted to go back to Germany and fight this guy. I wanted to, because, I thought it was a mess of decision. And what happened, the WC, they ended up giving me an honorary light heavyweight championship belt because they thought I wanted to fight. But, in Germany, they seen it a different way. And, in boxing, we see this, and I just wanted to fight him again and be able to just rectify things and straighten it out. But unfortunately, he had died in the accident. But now I want to give special thanks to the WC for giving me an honorary light heavyweight championship belt because they thought I wanted me. Just bad judging. And in between rounds, the referee was going to the Germans, telling them, well, your guy's losing. I mean, they got it on tape. And like I said, my manager, Dan Goosen, let him rest in peace. He had filed a lawsuit. And like I said, I don't, my fights are one-sided, right? I don't want to go to court and do all that stuff because, just judge the fight right. But unfortunately, we see bad decisions in boxing a lot. And it happens, but I don't want to be suing nobody. I'm a fighter, and that's what I come to do. And I want to work my skill set and my skills. I don't want to have to go to no court system to determine what I done when I know I want to fight. And it was so tragic and bad. When we get to the press conference, it's only 2 people there, me and my trainer, Joe Goose. Ain't nobody there from his side. Nobody. They don't even show up because they felt like it was a good decision that he got. But it was sad and tragic. And at the time, I was highly upset. One thing I wanted to do at that time was leave Germany because you go out there, you fight hard, you do everything you're supposed to do. When, unfortunately, you get bad decisions. We see it in boxing. It's sad, but, hey, it is what it is. But I want to commend the WBC for giving me honorary light heavyweight championship belt because that was the only belt I didn't have. I had the IBF championship at the WBA. I didn't have the WBC, but Mr. Jose Suleiman was kind enough to grant me to have a WBC light heavyweight championship belt. So I got all the belts from the 3 major organizations, a part of my history. So I'm overjoyed and thrilled to be able to get looked out and thanked for my performance.
And in 2002, a key year in your career, in your life for different reasons. There was the final fight of your career. And then later on, obviously, you had the arrest happen.
Wow. Yeah, I did.
And describe because there's so many different things have been written, conflicting stories. I know you've said that a lot of the stuff isn't accurate that's been written out there.
A lot of fabricated stuff. You got to understand, anytime you got a name, the media, they'll take it and try to run it in the ground. They wasn't there. They don't know what happened. They just guesstimate. I know what happened. But like I said, I was involved in a drug deal with a guy that was an informant with the government. And, the feds wanted to get me because they thought I was El Chapo in my community. And they wanted to, stop me from doing whatever I was doing. So they used an informant to get me caught up in something, and they arrested me. And, I went to jail like a man, and they gave me 24 years. I gave them 16 years and 6 months. And I came home. They hit me with a 2-point reduction, and they kicked me out of the prison because my behavior when I was in prison and my conduction and the way I done things, it stayed in my lane. And I got a 2-point reduction, and I was released from prison February 6, 2019. And I'm blessed to be home, and I thank God because I wouldn't have got home to December 19, 2024. That's only been like 6 months ago. So I've been home 5 years. I done completed my 5 years of federal probation, scotch-free. I'm free of everything. And, my life goes on, and I keep moving. I don't stop. And, I got knocked down, and I'm getting back up, and I'm going to come back swinging and fighting even harder. But we're going to do it in a positive, productive fashion. And like I said, I'm in the process of maybe working with this organization called the ABA Boxing Academy. It's working with the young kids and, keeping the kids straight. And, because I was one of them at-risk kids once upon a time. And it's easy for people to look at me and say, well, Michael Nunn, this and this, he's that, he's great. But I could have never been great without the tutelage of my mother, Mrs. Matus Nunn, let her rest in heaven. I know she's watching. My cousin Marshall Jackson, he was my older cousin. He's like a military general. he seen my talent when I didn't see it. My big brother, Willie Nunn, whenever I done something out in the streets, he kicked my butt. He used to always tell me, I'm the big brother. I can still kick your butt. So he always reminded me. So, I have a lot of great people. Even Dan Goose, my manager that came from California back in 1984 to convince my mother to come to California, he guaranteed my mother that I would be champion within 3.5 years once I turned pro. And so what the hell, let's go ahead and shoot for the stars. I had a challenge, so when I was in California, I was able to do what we do. And I want to give special thanks to my advisor, Mr. Robert Sirkine. He's another guy that was part of my life and helped me get to the level I got to. And I want to give special thanks to him. And when I got to California with the Goosens, we took it all the way up, man. And I think we'll be able to, work with people like Joe Goosen, Dan Goosen, Greg Goosen, Larry Goosen, and the whole Goosen clan. So it was great for me to be able to leave Iowa and to come to California and do the things that I've done.
So when you first were in court and you got that sentence handed down, mentally in your head, did you think my life might be over now?
No, I never thought like that. That's never been my attitude. I've been a soldier all my life, man. I come up kind of rough, and I just always was pretty, stoic and strong-minded, and I had a real supporting cast with me, so it helped me navigate through the system because, I was in prison for 16 years, 6 months. That's a long time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even though they gave me the 2-point reduction and kicked me out of jail, I had 5 years left on my sentence, and they kicked me out of jail, and that was a prime achievement moment for them to do what they done and let me out of jail because, people die in jail like they die in the streets. You want to be home with your family and your loved ones and stuff like that. And, I'm back to life now, and that's where I want to be. Just keep my mind on what needs to be done, and just, keep my head up and stay positive, do the right things, and stay out of the way of anything bad.
How was it inside that people, because you're an ex-fighter, that anyone tried to test you, like, let me see if this guy could really fight?
And over the course of 16 years, I had 3 fights, all one-hitter quitters, you know what I'm saying? Only thing the government said is, well, you had to be crazy to be messing with this guy, especially if you didn't have a weapon. But, I had 3 altercations while I was in prison, and it was all one-hitter quitters. And the last time I fought, I didn't want to fight no more because you kill somebody in prison, especially in a fight. What they do is in the feds, you kill somebody, they just give you a life sentence.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to fight no more after that because the guy was a friend of mine, and he was a big guy, and he boxed at the Texas penitentiary. He was like a champion in jail. And the guys on the yard just telling me, they say, hey, man, this guy, he's a real professional. And he ain't no guy that's going to be light on it. He knows how to slip slide. He knows when to punch. He knows when to do whatever. But this guy just had the opportunity, or he just, in his mind, he thought because he's bigger than me, he could beat me. I had to show him that he couldn't beat me. And one day, I was happening to be playing dominoes outside my housing unit with a couple of friends. And, he come up here talking smack. And I told him, I said, today's a bad day, brother. And he said, if you want to really get it on, he was a friend of mine. We should walk in compound together, hang out, play dominoes, work out together, do stuff. And in his mind, he always thought he could just beat me, right? I guess because he's a bigger guy, he's lifting weights and he's strong. He knocked a couple guys out.
Yeah.
And I should tell him, man, I'll put you in the hellfire. And one day he come up there and said the wrong thing, and I put him in the hellfire.
So did you, was there also, I would assume, groups of people who gave you a certain level of respect, looked out for you?
Believe it or not, yeah, they did. There's a lot of, and I don't like to, consider everybody a gang, but, they got a lot of groups that's in jail, and they're always cool with me because I'm always been a respectful guy. I grew up in the streets, so I know how to conduct myself. So they always gave me the utmost respect because it's the way I treated them, and whatever they did was none of my business. But, I had a great relationship with a lot of the guys that was in jail, guys that was the gang guys or whatever, what I'm saying? I just had a good rapport, and everybody likes boxing. And then plus I could fight, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I met a lot of guys because they was gang guys, wasn't no bad guys. It's just they made a mistake. And, then hopefully when they do get out, the ones that got out, I want to see them guys become successful and do the right thing the right way. And I'm sure after their incarceration, we all live and learn. It's a mistake. And, we make them, but it's not about not making mistakes because life's on the journey. We're going to make them. It's just that we got to, not make the mistakes that can put us incarcerated, to incarcerators. And when they give you time for certain things that you do, hey, man, it's like forever now. Life is beautiful, and I want to live my life and be happy. I got grandkids now, so, I like take my kids out to eat pizza, sushi, and eat ice cream and stuff like that, and be able to enjoy them. And the only way I can do that is stay out here. So that's my dream.
Now, when looking back on your career, who would you say was your toughest opponent?
All of them. Every last one of them. I had 62 professional fights. I won 58 of them. It's a variety of guys. It's guys that the boxing world probably don't even know. Like I just told them, This guy named Cecil Pettigrew. He died a couple years ago. He was a guy from Oklahoma. He's a very relentless guy, strong, and he could take punches and can give punches. But like I say, the Iran Barkleys, the Frank Tates, the Victor Cordovas, the Donald Currys, they all can hit hard. The Marlon Starters, everybody can hit hard. That's what we're doing with fighting. So there's no one particular person. And then even my dear friend Iran Barkley, he's about James, Tony. I mean, there's a variety of guys that can punch. I fought 8 world champions, knocked out 6. So they wasn't just the world champions that hit hard. It's the guys that, had to get to that level, they can hit hard as well. So, boxing's rough, man. So everybody hits hard.
Was there anyone that stands out in your mind as the hardest hitter? Someone that landed a shot and you were like, whoa, I don't want to.
I know Iran Barkley hit me so hard in the second round. I told my trainer, I said, hey, man, give me my $1 million. I'm going home. And then my trainer, one thing about a great trainer, they're psychiatrists in their own ways. Joe Goose told me, hey, that's why you're the champion, man. He said, you go out there and do what you're supposed to do. He said, you're in great shape. That's nothing. And, you need good, tutors and good trainers to help you endure, to help you get through. And, because in boxing, you're gonna get hit. And I don't care who you are, whether it's to the body, the chin, you're going to feel that pressure, man. And when you feel it, it's how you withstand the pressure and overcome it. And that's what great condition does. You're great conditioned. You got to be, physically, mentally, spiritually conditioned and just bite down and just keep swinging and just don't stop.
And you were in the ring with a lot of talented guys.
Very talented guys, yes, I was.
Who would you say is the best pure talent you've been in the ring with? A guy that when you left, whether you won or lost, and said, wow, that guy's really good.
Well, like I said, I fought 8 world champions, so all those guys was very talented, very skilled. And, Donald Curry, Frank Tate, Marlon Starlin, had so many great guys. James Toney, man. I fought so many different great styles. I did really just bite down on that mouthpiece and say, hey, just keep on pushing, man, and let it ride. You're in condition. As to doing the training camp, you was waiting your family for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it was, to get prepared. So now go out there and illustrate your boxing skills and pull this thing out. But there's so many talented guys, man. So many guys. And like I say, it was guys that never reached the championship level, were still good fighters. And I want to thank them guys, because without them guys, I wouldn't be getting inducted to the 2025 Hall of Fame. So it just wasn't the world champions that I fought. Guys that I fought were just tough, relentless. They wanted to beat me because I was a hot shot at a big name. So guys come to beat me. So every time I got in the ring, I had to be mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared because guys was coming to, take what I had, which is my world middleweight championship.
And you're a close follower of the sport, even to this day.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
2 of your favorite fighters going to collide this September. Terence Crawford moving up by 2 weight divisions from 54 straight to 68.
That's big. That's a big jump. I mean, anytime you jump 1 weight class is tough, and you jump a 2, it's even astronomically harder. But, he's got the skill set to win a fight, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a dog fight. Canelo's a big, strong, physical guy, and he's not going to want to get beat by a smaller man. And this is going to be a great fight. I want to be in. I think they're going to fight in Vegas. I want to be in Vegas in that arena to watch that fight tonight because it's going to be a great fight. You're going to have the bigger guy going against the smaller guy, and the smaller guy is going to go in there like Goliath and want to, go in there like David and want to beat Goliath. And it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking really forward to seeing it. I'm just glad to see him fight. I just wish that Canelo probably could have came down, but Terence in his mind believes he can win. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
There's always this boxing cliche, a good big man always beats
a good little man.
Yeah.
But, we can change it around. And, Crawford's got the style set to be able to win the fight, but he's going to do it, and he's going to be really successful because you can't have no close fights. You got to beat him decisively because, Canelo is the bigger fighter, and, Terence got an opportunity, but those later rounds are going to be where the fight's going to be at because you can box for 4 rounds and be successful, but after the 6th round, when the guys hit you to your liver and your stomach and in your arms and upside your head, now it's the 6th round, you still got 6 rounds to go. And you got to understand there's going to be a difference amongst power because Canelo's used to fighting bigger guys because he's a much bigger fighter. So quite naturally, the guys he's fighting are going to be a little bit stronger. That's not taking nothing from Bud. He's got to box successfully for 12 rounds, and he's got to really beat Canelo because if the fight's close, he might not get the fight. So he's got to go out there and just be his best and try to get the fight. And he's got the skill set, but, fights are one inside the ring. We can Charles to return blue in the face. It means nothing. It's what you do September, I think, 12th, and you got to go out there and be successful throughout the whole fight because anything close, they can give it to whoever, but you don't want to question that. You don't want to take no chance. You want to just go out there and be the best you can be and do what you got to do to win, because you got 12 rounds to do what you do. And, people make it sound like it's not easy to knock nobody out, because both of them are going to be at the top of the form as far as the conditioning. They're going to be ready for 12 hard rounds of boxing. And I just want to see a great fight with two great fighters.
And in closing, what would you like to say to the people out there, your supporters?
I just want to thank you people that have supported me throughout my history of my career. And I want to give special thanks to, my family, my mother, my Mrs. Mavis Nunn, rest in heaven, his brother Willie Nunn, Marshall Jackson, Dan Goosen, my advisor, Mr. Bob Sirkine, and all my fans, family, and all my friends. And I want to thank all my great fans from the Quad Cities, which is Davenport, Iowa, where I grew up at. You guys supported me over the last 40 years, and I just want to thank you guys for that. Even my fans in California and even worldwide, I want to give special thanks to all you guys for your love and support over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.